Good evening, YouTube. What the crap's going on? Well, what happens when freakish undersea creatures riding crabs combine with the very high and mighty elves of Lothern? Well, I will tell you in just a minute. Hey, first off, I'm trying to get to 250,000 subscribers. It's been an awesome 10-year journey on YouTube, and I would love to hit that milestone this month. If you all can help me, please go hit that subscribe button. If you have already subscribed, share it with a friend. Family, tell them to jump in, help me out. It would mean a whole lot to me if we meet that milestone. I got some giveaways and some special stuff planned if we can get there. Anyway, so yes, high elves and we've got zombies. High elves and vampirates. So I'm going to be playing as Lothern, my teammate as the vampire coast, and then across from us we have the dark elves and Avalorn. So I guess that the high elves are split here. Alariel and Alith can't make up their mind about which treacherous faction they wish to join. So let me introduce you to the armies and then to kind of explain it. So a lot of chaff here for the vampirates up front. They've got a lot of deckhand mobs. The second line of bombers, obviously to chew up any nice infantry that rolls through. Behind that, I've got a couple of Sisters of Avalorn and 2 Lothern Sea Guards with shield. I am leading with Alith. He has a handmaiden and a high mage. And it's because these 2 units can buff the reload rate, hence the damage of missile units, and we'll show you some of that as it's going on. There's 2 carronades here. We've got 2 Gunnery Wights because they can replenish ammunition and buff missile units. So, I mean, it's going to be absurd. There's a couple of deckhand mob with pole arms. I've got 5 spears and the Fireborn hiding in the back. And then across from us, we are dealing with 3 Reaper bolt throwers, which is going to be difficult because they're quite good against artillery. And then Avalorn has brought quite a few spears, some White Lions, there's some Lothern Sea Guard, a couple of nobles on chariot. They do really good work against infantry. There's some treekin to give a little bit of tankiness here. They had some reavers out here, and then they're supported by Alariel, which is always a solid choice. Malekith is out here on his Velociraptor. There's some Black Ark Corsairs with hand bows. So lots of cool stuff going on here. Let me jump in and kind of show you all what it is we're trying to do strategy-wise. Well, we're moving up and trying to get engaged with the bolt throwers. They're out of range. We do have about 100 meters of range over the Reaper bolt throwers. They run at 350, and I believe the carronade is 450. It is. Good. There's also a couple of units I didn't cover over here. There's some Cold One Knights. They're not hidden. I could see them, which is strange. I don't know how I could see them, but I could. So yeah, anyway, they're out there. So this army, let's cover a few things. With Alith, let me start with him. So he's got this Darkened Skies, which gives an extra reload, missile resistance to anything around him. So Alith can buff these units. The Handmaiden has a further buff, and I mean, I guess I could just show it to you all here on the Sisters of Avalorn. So they're getting buffed by Deadeyes, Quicksilver Shot, Horn of Isha, Enchanted Spyglass, Darken the Skies. Yeah, so look at the damage here. 41 and now 64 missile damage when they're in the range of that Gunnery Wight. And then the Gunnery Wight can actually give ammo back to the Sisters of Avalorn as well. So basically we are trying to use our artillery to pull the enemies within bow range and then just slaughter them with a combination of bombs and arrows. And you use the vampirates for chaff because they're unbreakable, and they can be quite frustrating to deal with. And then the Fireborn are my tool of last resort to hold back anything large and powerful. So that's kind of why I brought it here. But yeah, High Mage has a special spell too, which I believe is the Hand of Glory. And here in a little while we use it to buff the carronade. You guys have to see the missile damage for yourself to believe it. Right now it's already up at 363 due to everything around it. See, that one's only 277, but I mean, just show you how much stuff gets buffed by all this. Yeah, it's going to be a tricky fight, so obviously the Vampire Coast is going to get very aggro aggressive, if you will, against these Reaper bolt throwers. Yeah, look at me trying to be young. I'm just doing as a joke, though, by the way, folks. I don't really talk like that. Anyway, the Reaper bolt throwers need to go, and we know it. And the Reapers are quite good against artillery, and you can see one of our carronades is already struggling a little bit There's going to be another buff over here, and then I've also used Hand of Glory. Look at that, 1,429 missile damage because of the stacking buffs on the carronades. So these things will be reloading very quickly, and it should be pretty dang accurate because of the enhanced ballistics. These carronades, let's see how quickly it can fire. Oh man, I almost hoped it would be faster than that. But whatever, they get some shots off. We're doing very nice damage against the Reaper Bolt Thrower. Remember, missile damage is the average damage that can be done over a period of time, so it's not necessarily telling you how much the missile itself does. It's kind of representative of the damage that the missile does, along with the fire rate. So it's a combination of two things. It's a little bit tricky to read sometimes, but that's how you kind of have to look at it. So anyway, one of our carronades is out, and the other one really is going to need all the help it can get. So I'm going to throw another Hand of Glory here. Alarielle is probably going to come in and try and bait some shots. She obviously didn't mean to take these, but if she gets to scooting around, she can get hard to hit, and you can waste a lot of ammo. Now, granted, I can have some of my ammo replenished, and obviously these Blackheart Corsairs know to stay out of range of the Sisters. And the carronades are going to try... These guys have lost their artillery units, so they're going to try and go out and maybe bait some missile fire. This is definitely going to be a standoff battle, so hopefully you all are ready for a standoff. But I love these giant hermit crabs. It's so ridiculous, man. The Gunnery Wights. I love what CA added with the Vampire Coast. It's so cool. The only true downside to the Vampire Coast is that there aren't naval battles for real. That would be so epic. So Alarielle is going to come in and drop a... she's going to drop a... oh crap, why can't I think of it right now? Banishment. Jeez, it took me a minute. Yeah, she's going to drop a banishment. Do quite a bit of damage to some of these bombs and other units here. I really was watching out for my archers. I'm surprised she didn't go for them. I've got my archers off fire at will. I'm going to be very patient with them, as best I can at least. See, Count Noctilus is kind of pushing up. He really wants to get an opportunity to summon some dead back here on these bolt throwers. It's going to be one of our next objectives. This is a waste of ammo right here too, so I do return off my fire at will here in a moment. And get ready to conserve my ammo a little better. Like I said, I can get more ammo, but it still doesn't mean you want to waste it. So Noctilus is going to come up, and he's going to end up having to tank some unreal damage here and be very careful because he's being pursued by Malekith, but he is just bound and determined to get up here and put a summon in, and he does. Thank goodness. This is going to tip the artillery fight for us. And so now we actually get to use the insane archer buffs, which I'm sure if any of you are watching this video, you were either rooting one of two ways. You're like, oh man, I hope Air and this guy totally get killed because this is so cheesy. Or some of you are like, oh my gosh, please tell me I get to see what these Sisters of Avalorn are going to do. Yes, you do get to see what the Sisters are going to do. Now, does that mean we win? Don't know, but obviously this puts us playing in a position where we want to be right now. Now, the one thing I did miss micro pretty poorly was I accidentally left Alith and R's fire at will on, and he did get some kills, but it was probably mostly worthless. That was a mistake. I should have saved that and tried to, you know, target more important things. Alarielle's going to get targeted by Count Noctilus' little storm thing. This is one of the coolest bombardment spells I've seen. It sounds cool and it looks cool. Noctilus is quite a character. He is very, very tanky. Alright, so they're going to start moving into range. I'm going to have to push my sisters up, but again, we got to be careful because Alarielle's going to be working these banishment spells here, so there's really a lot of back and forth in this one as both teams are vying for ranged supremacy. That's what this is all about. It's going to be ranged supremacy. So I have to back up and yep, so I had to back up my sisters because of that banishment, but now we're back in position. I am going to have to push forward, though, because we're getting hit by these 165 or 80 range archers. My sisters should be able to match their range, but we don't really want to go toe-to-toe shooting. We want to kill anything that has the same range as us very quickly and keep my sisters out of an exchange of missile fire. Even though they do get some resistance, it's nice to have. Again, not really the type of fight that you really want to be in. So these archers move up, they're going to be the easiest, and just look at the Sisters of Avalorn. They are going to start firing at a very rapid clip here. It's almost just kind of like a machine gun going off. They just don't stop. So nasty. when we were putting this build together. It was my teammate's idea. It was King of the Dead, and boy, it was a good idea. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm going to have to pull back again with my sisters, but this is causing our enemies to push up. They really don't want to sit back and take this kind of punishment from the Sisters of Avalorn, who have a very, very rapid rate of fire. So they've gone ahead and brought their nobles and some spearmen up on the flanks. The polearms are going to be helpful, and I've brought down the Fireborn to try and contain these two nobles on their chariot. I need some mass and some anti-large. And the deckhand mobs are taking a pretty savage beating over here, but anything that approaches is still going to take a lot of hits from the bombers. A lot of hits from the bombers. So the archers for Avalorn are being dealt with fairly well at this point. Fairly well, at least. I have to bring in my leadership to help deal with this noble. There's also a Gunnery Wight headed that way, and then the Fireborn have followed them over here. There's still one more noble on this flank, and it looks like they may be getting targeted by the bombardment from Noctilus. Just did some nice damage, actually. So I'm going to pull back my ranged units and try and pick my next target. The Chill of Sontar is pushing up on us. We're going to have to keep an eye out for that. And over here, there's some healing to try and keep these White Lions and Treekin in the fight. That's going to be the Star of Avalorn. There's also a Reaper Bolt Thrower still in the background. And one of the High Elf Nobles was trapped up here. May have been able to get out the back of that fight, but hasn't managed to yet. Count Noctilus is just sitting up here, like almost like taunting the enemy to come on. I'm going to go ahead and target Alariel for a minute, so that she can't sit still. I want to keep her moving around and try and not give her like a nice stationary opportunity to do some work. Very nice chill wind here from Malekith. I'm going to get my spears turned around. I don't know if I quite get braced in time. These Cold One Knights are going to try and get through my spears, but they don't make it. And then the Fireborn are ready to come in here. There are two knights, but I'm going to use Apotheosis to do some healing. If I say it wrong, then I apologize. But I got spears nearby. I can heal the Fireborn. The Fireborn are quite good, so this should be a pretty favorable engagement there for me. So again, this is going to force their hand in ways that they don't want to. That's basically our objective right now. Alariel going to take some more fire from my nuke sisters. But right now, they don't have all the buffs that they did earlier because my leadership is over here dealing with these two High Elf nobles from Avalorn. But I'm going to go ahead and pull them back that way now so that they can help protect my sisters. And again, the Fireborn are going to be doing some pretty serious work over there. At this point, Alariel is going to be in a bit of trouble because she's going to take a lot of fire. The bombers have done a lot of work. You can see them over here. Ooh, nasty blade wind from Malekith. So I had to move my archers the last second. Look at the bombers. Very cool units. You don't get to see these a lot. They did well in this battle for what we needed them to do. We have a Chill of Sontar coming into our backlines and chasing with some spears. And of course my Lothern Seaguard came in handy because they're able to hold back those Blackguard Corsairs with hand bows for a pretty significant amount of time. And then again, just going to kind of keep picking at Alariel here and keep my leadership near the Sisters of Avalorn. They've been given ammunition a couple of times by the Gunnery Wights, so I'm able to keep firing and firing. And I may not necessarily get a ton of kills on these Sisters, but you can see that one of them already has a Chevron and then some, and another one is working that way, getting closer to a Chevron. So we can keep them safe. We can do stuff like this, where the Chill of Sontar is now a very nice target. It's a very good-looking target, too. Wow, it's getting bombed and shot up by the Sisters. Holy mackerel. The Chill of Sontar is getting absolutely lit up here by the machine gun Sisters of Avalorn and all the bombers. That is brutal. That is one of the most savage missile assaults I think I've ever seen in Total War Warhammer 2. Yikes. This is a tanky unit, too. It looks like it even has missile resistance. It does. That's 35% missile resistance. Or else it would have melted a whole lot faster. The Star of Avalorn's being used over here. Alariel trying to help herself and this noble. But they're just not able to get away with it. I've pulled what's left of the Fireborn back over here. They did very well at pushing back those Cold One Knights, who are now what's left of them berserking. Malekith is tough, but I just kind of pulled away from him. I want to let him kind of wither away in the spears. And now I can start targeting other units. Now that the Chill of Sontar is gone, I'm going to start targeting White Lions and Treekin and just start getting rid of all the infantry through here, the Helleburnai. Alariel has been very, very survivable in this battle, but we managed to push back all of our opponents, and they are going to chain rout. It worked. The plan worked. It's not very often that that happens when you go into a battle, but it was a fun plan. King of the Dead gets all the credit for coming up with it. I was familiar with all of these different traits, but hadn't thought of combining them in this way, and it makes it a very interesting combination. You get some nice, cheap anti-large with high defense being combined with unbreakable chaff, and then very, very high fire rates and the ability to buff the artillery with the high mage, or you can buff the sisters. And look at this, 2 chevrons on this sister, and then we got 1 on there. So a lot of work done by the sisters, even though the kills won't read out to it. They did a ton of damage during this battle. Alith and R, nothing else special really about my army. It was not meant to be all that special. And again, you look over here, this Carronade did manage to get some pretty serious damage done in the end. I don't know. Maybe this is the one that survived longer, though. I don't know. Look at the bombers. 79 kills, 37 kills, 56 kills. Just an attrition thing through all here. It's not a ton of kills on any one unit. It just adds up to a whole lot. And even with the attacks that I put down on these nobles, they still managed to get some work done. Alario with a couple of banishment. These archers killed probably a lot of chaff units because they don't have a chevron here. And remember, this was on the ultra unit sizes, too. So, you know, it may seem like a ton of kills for certain units, but it's a larger battle. Now, their Lothern Sea Guard did pretty darn well, all things considered over here. It was really the chain route in the end that prevented them from doing even more work. The Chilasantar and the Reapers just not able to get the work in that they needed to. Malekith moving around on the Velociraptor with Chill Wind and Blade Wind can certainly get some damage done if there's a big blob or something like that. So that makes a lot of sense, actually, rolling Malekith that way with some protection, potentially from Cold One Knights. The Black Ark Corsairs are kind of a cool addition. You don't see these guys a whole lot. You have your long range here, and then a little bit of fun skirmishing potential with these guys. Plus, they're pretty decent in melee against anything that's low armor. So, a fun pick from Serpentera Fang there. And then X-Clone or Soyon here, I'm sure I can't say it right, with the Avalorn build. It was fun. Really enjoyed this one. Appreciate King of the Dead coming up with the idea. I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, please don't forget, help me out. Let's get to 250k. Get up there, hit that subscribe button, and if you all get me to 250k, I promise there's going to be some cool stuff going down. I will make it worth your while, and like I said, it'll just be something exciting for me. 10 years on YouTube, I'd love to see myself be able to hit a huge milestone like that. I've enjoyed every last bit of the 10 years with you all. If you enjoyed this video, go up, hit that like button. I will see you all next time. HeirofCarthage, signing out.